Hey guys, today let's talk about how I fixed my sleep quality. I used to get Sunday scaries, and some days, when you get Sunday scaries, the moment that you lay down that you're gonna have that dreaded hour, 2 hours, 3 hours where you're just tossing and turning, and at a certain point you just give up. No, I get really, really good sleep these days, and it's amazing. I just want to share it with you guys. So first of all, my name is Dr. Joyce Kahng. I am a dentist. I am not a doctor who you'd be tuning into to find out about sleep. So I'm not qualified on that end, but I do get really, really good sleep. And I, really invested last year into my sleep hygiene. So these are the things that have worked for me. And I know everyone is a little bit different with what works for them. But if you can take away anything and improve your quality of sleep, then I think it's worth making this video. So just to give you some backstory, I'm a mom of a toddler. That's an uphill battle in itself. I'm also a dentist, and many would say that being a dentist is stressful. So, it made sense that I had Sunday scaries for a long time. I'm also very, very high strung. And there was a period of time where I had to take unisoms to go to sleep. And it wasn't a full unisom because those would knock me out, but I'd cut one little unisom into multiple little tabs and then just pop just a little bit just to fall asleep. So my issue, there's two issues with sleep. One is that sometimes I had a hard time falling asleep. And then the second issue was that I would wake up in the middle of the night because I have a small bladder, and I would never be able to go back to sleep because I would go back to bed and start thinking about life, and I could just never turn it off. And if this has ever happened to you, it is the worst feeling in the world when you know that you're going to have a sleepless night. So here are the few things that I did. I have little notes over here. So I am one of those people that needs to have a good 8 hours of sleep. I even sleep a little bit more than that on the daily, but if I don't have 8 hours, I am a cranky bee, and I just don't feel like my best self. I know some people don't need as much sleep, and that's one of those things where it's really dependent on the person. Some people, they function really, really well without as much sleep. Not me. I need a good amount of sleep, and that's why I've been prioritizing it so much. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I purify my air. So in my bedroom, I have this air purifier. I bought them during the pandemic because everyone was freaking out about the quality of air, and I bought one for almost every room in our house. I have one for my son, I have one for us, I have one in other areas of the house, and I'll just turn that on every weekend just to purify the air, but also maybe 30 minutes before I go to sleep. So the air is better and more pure. I think that is really important. And you're probably why is that important for sleep? Well, it is important because I also prioritize nasal breathing when I sleep. And when you breathe through your nose, you want that air to be a little bit better. You don't want to be polluted and stuff, but also you get better sleep, more sound, deeper sleep because more oxygen is being delivered to your brain. So what I do as part of my nighttime routine is after I brush and floss and do all that, then I blow my nose, and then I will use this spray. It's called XLEAR nasal spray. It's basically a nasal spray, but it's not a drug or anything like that. You can't overdose. It's just purified water and xylitol and grapefruit seed extract. So it's not anything crazy, but it helps to moisturize your nasal passages, and I love this stuff. We do it to our toddler, our 3-year-old. I make my husband spray his nose. I spray my nose. And I think it just preps everything, gets it nice and moisturized for a night of good nasal breathing. All right, so this is a must. I love this stuff. I'll link it down below if you want to pick this up. The second thing that I do paired with this is then I mouth tape. So this just goes right over your mouth, like so. And this one's actually really stretchy, and there's a hole in the middle. I did not expect to love mouth taping as much as I do now, and I think part of it was because I wasn't convinced that I was mouth breathing. I always thought of myself as a nose breather, and I think what I realized is there's a small part of my mouth that's open while I sleep. It's just ever so slightly open, and it's just the shape of my lip is I have this M-shaped lip, so just a tiny bit there, but that tiny bit makes a big difference. So I only started trying mouth taping because one of my friends from dental school that I sat next to, he's an airway doctor, so an airway dentist, and he created this mouth tape and also the supplement that I'm going to talk about because I actually did not expect to love that either, but he's you have to try mouth taping, and so I did. He sent this to me, and then the first night I did it, I was kind of oh, this is so weird, because I'd wake up and then want to drink water, but my mouth was taped shut. And then I think even by the second night, I was like, dude, I feel a difference because my mouth feels so moisturized in the morning. And I am currently being kind of like assessed for Sjogren's disease. So I have dry mouth in general. And this, if I like put Aquaphor on my lips and just like seal all of it shut, like in the morning, my mouth feels so moist and it makes me feel so good the rest of the day just to start my day with a nice moisturized mouth. You have no idea. So I'm a huge fan of this. The other thing with the mouth taping is I thought that taping your mouth would feel like really constricting, and that's why I never tried it. But this one is actually so stretchy and there is a hole here. So if you want to try it, like this is the one that I would try. I actually just bought a few more from Amazon just so I can compare the differences because this was the first and only one that I've ever tried. I've also tried just like taping my mouth with medical tape because I know a lot of people do that, but I like having Aquaphor on my lips when I go to sleep, and I found that that tape doesn't keep things shut if I have Aquaphor on my lips. So I prefer something that goes over because when I wake up, I really like having moist lips as well. So one thing to know is don't just try mouth taping if you cannot breathe through your nose. I mean, it sounds like common sense, but I just need to say this because I am wearing a white coat, which is just because I just stopped working. But remember that I'm a dentist and not your medical professional. I am just giving you my own opinions about why I'm sleeping so well. So ask your medical professional about mouth taping before you do it. But generally, if you cannot breathe through your nose, then this is not a good idea. But even so, part of me thinks like this is stretchy enough where you'll be fine because there's that little hole, but don't take my word for it. I mean, this is just to help promote nasal breathing by keeping the lips sealed. So the reason you want to breathe through your nose is because when you breathe through your nose, it releases nitric oxide, which helps to release more carbon dioxide into the bloodstream, and that helps to release more oxygen, which means that it is more efficient for your brain to receive oxygen. And if your brain is not receiving oxygen, then you will feel more fatigued and stressed in the morning. So that is why I think I feel so great, especially after I started mouth taping. It is a game changer. I mean, ask your dentist about it and then try it. Let me know in the comments below if you are on team mouth taping. Okay, the next item that I literally refuse to sleep without are my pillows. So I am not pregnant, but I still use a pregnancy pillow. And it's one that I got off of Amazon. It's like one that looks like this. And basically I feel like I'm being hugged on both sides, and I like to turn on my side and like wrap my leg around it. It just, any position that I want to be in, that pregnancy pillow is clutch. And so I love that one because also the fabric, the jersey fabric on it is so soft, and it's just, ever since I got it, I've slept like a baby. I also have one more pillow that's on my bed, and it's funny because my husband is always like, my side is such a fortress with all the things that I sleep with, but I sleep with a silk pillowcase, and that silk pillowcase is just, it's good for your wrinkles and your hair and everything like that, but also it's a little cooler. So on those warmer periods of the night, I'll just grab that silk pillowcase and I'll just like hug it to cool down, and yeah, I just love it. So the silk pillowcase is from Slip, and then I will link the pregnancy pillow that I use, which is a game changer. I love it. Along the lines of things that you sleep with, I don't personally use this, but I just want to throw that out there because a lot of my friends do really like a weighted blanket. I've never found a weighted blanket that I like. I just don't like feeling trapped and heavy underneath, but some people do like it because it feels like a hug. For me, the pregnancy pillow feels like a hug. So I love that. But you know, if you are on the search for the perfect like combination of things to sleep with in your bed, then maybe try a weighted blanket. Okay, next let's talk about like supplements and things like that. So obviously I try to stay hydrated, so I drink a lot of water throughout the day. I probably should drink more water, honestly, but I try to drink as much as I can, especially after I started getting this dry mouth and these dry eyes. I'm way more conscious of it. And I also supplement with electrolytes. So I always put electrolytes in my water and try to stay nice and moisturized. That part I think is like everyone should be doing that anyway, but the supplements that I take have been a game changer. Again, these are the supplements that my friend made in his brand, and I don't know that much about, supplements and stuff like that. I've used melatonin in the past, which made me have crazy, crazy dreams. I've tried the Sleepy Girl mocktail. Did not like that. I've been taking magnesium regularly, and I could never tell if it was doing anything actually. So when he told me that, he has a supplement, he sent this over with the mouth taping thing. And just remember, he's my friend, so he's just sending me this to try. But like, this has magnesium in it. It also has inositol, L-theanine, and apigenin 98%. And for whatever reason, these combination of ingredients are so good. I think this helps you to have better deep sleep or something, but it doesn't make you feel drowsy at all, and it doesn't make you feel drowsy when you wake up. It almost doesn't feel like anything like the other magnesium supplement, but in a weird way I can tell the difference when I take this. And so after the first night when I took this, which I was like kind of reluctant to take because I hate waking up groggy, I was like, whoa, my sleep was really good last night. And so now I take this every night, and I'm even making my husband take it every night because it's just that good. And when I run out, I will probably be buying more, and he will probably be making a lot of money off of me. So that I highly recommend, just to see if it works with you. Okay, next let's talk about the very expensive things that I've invested in. So I feel like all those other things are like small little knickknacks that you can pick up that may impact your sleep and be beneficial or like make a big difference with small impact. But these next few things are a little bit more on the pricey side, and so I will give you my opinions and my experience with them. So first of all is my Aura ring. I wear this like every video. I've had this for at least 2 years now, and at first, I wasn't sure if I would love it because I didn't want to buy a sleep tracking ring that would tell me that my sleep sucked and I couldn't do anything about it. Because, the weird thing about sleep is like, you can put in all the effort in the world, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Like sometimes that night of sleep is horrible, even if you tried your hardest. So with that mindset, I wasn't sure if having an Aura ring was going to be helpful. Like I just didn't need somebody to tell me that my sleep sucked. I did want the Aura ring though, if it was going to help me to be more actionable. So I found that it has helped me to be more actionable and more aware of my sleep. So I wear this every single night. I don't check every morning like I used to, but I was kind of addicted to it in the beginning. And what I like are the sleep stats that it shows. So the app looks like this.
One eternity later.
It's gathering my data. But anyways, there are two big stats. Like it actually breaks down into fine detail what your sleep cycle was, how much REM sleep you had, how much deep sleep you had. I tend to have enough REM sleep, but I sometimes struggle with deep sleep is what I found. But here's the interesting thing that makes it more actionable. So you can't necessarily control how your sleep's going to be every single night, but there are a few things that you can control. So such as like the supplements that I was talking about and preparing yourself for a good night's sleep. You can also really control your routine, like going to sleep at the same time every single night. And so that's all part of like sleep hygiene. But the part that I found really interesting is this score called the readiness score. At first, I couldn't really understand what it meant. Like sometimes I would have a really good night's sleep, but then I would have like a average readiness score and I'd be like, what the heck? But the readiness score is really reflecting more in the bigger scope of things. So for example, let's say that you are a doctor and you're on call and you have to stay up all night doing your call and you didn't get any sleep for one whole night. You missed an entire night. Now let's say that the next day you make up for it by sleeping super, super long and super, super well. Your readiness score is not just gonna bounce back from one good sleep. And it's also not gonna just completely tank just from one bad night. So it's more of a culmination of how you're doing. And I find that that is very, very helpful for me because if I screw up one night of sleep, then I screwed it up. But it doesn't make me feel like, oh, no, because your body is resilient and you're still able to take on the day's tasks. And then it just reminds me the next day, I just need to make up for it. So personally, the scores that I'm looking for are a score of at least 90 on my sleep score. And I guess everyone's normal sleep pattern is different because like some people I talk to, they never hit 90. And I'm always like hovering around the upper 80s to low 90s. Like this one, I got a 93 and I was like pretty happy about that. There are times I'll get like a 95 or something crazy, but that's not as common for me. I think more common is like 91 or 90, something like that, which is really, really good. And what that means is that you hit all your parameters. So you had a good amount of total sleep in terms of hours, your efficiency was good, restfulness was optimal, the REM sleep that you got is the recommended amount, the deep sleep that you got is the recommended amount. Latency is also important. So latency is something that I didn't really understand, but that's how fast you fall asleep. If you fall asleep way too fast, that means you kind of have like you need to be sleeping more because you're overtired is basically what that means. Whereas if it takes you way too long to fall asleep, like over 20 minutes, I think is the parameter. Let me see. So it says ideally you should be able to fall asleep between 15 to 20 minutes. If you fall asleep faster than 5 minutes, then you are very tired. And if it's over 20 minutes, then you have to start like relaxing earlier. So I usually have a good sleep latency right now. It's not perfect every night, but more so than not these days, I do fall asleep within that like 15-20 minute range. I am one of those people where if I don't start falling asleep within 20 minutes, like my mind is awake, then my mind will start rolling and rolling and rolling. And the likelihood is that I really just won't be able to fall asleep because I'm psyching myself out because I'm scared that I won't be able to fall asleep. Yeah. That's what happens when you are a type A individual who is also Virgo and is like everything that is important to you, like you just want to will it so bad that you will against it. That hasn't been happening with me as much, but it does still happen, and that's just part of life. Okay, so latency is really important. I made a note here. I think I mentioned this, but everyone's normal sleep pattern is different. So like some people need more sleep, some people need less. And for me, 90 is where I'm trying to be at. The other thing that I feel helps that I don't know if is scientifically proven at all is I wear this LED face mask for my skin, like for anti-aging. And being under that LED face mask for whatever reason totally zens me out. My friends were saying that it's almost just like meditating because you're just like underneath there. But I feel like there has to be something with the red light that just makes you like kind of calm and zen. I don't know, but whatever it is, like when I wear that, I'm almost literally falling asleep by the time I take that off. And it's only 10 minutes that I wear that LED face mask. And anytime I wear the LED face mask, I fall asleep like that. Like so good, so good. So yeah, I think data is really important when you're tracking anything health-wise. Like I'm a dentist, right? So I think things like x-rays and scans and having a lot of data throughout lifetime, even though it may not seem important, you can always benefit because like, let's say something changes in the future, you can look back at the data from a specific day and see if there are any major changes. So data is really, really important. And I think if you're not tracking your sleep in some way, like it doesn't have to be an Oura ring, it could be an Apple Watch, but if you're not doing something, then it's really hard to know if you're doing a good job. Now, if you already sleep well, then you probably like maybe don't need this, but I think that anyone could benefit from an Oura ring. And I've been loving my Oura ring. I was thinking about returning it for so long, but I'm so glad that I kept this because it not only tracks your sleep, it tracks like a whole bunch of other things like your HRV and your temperature and all that. And I track it too. I link it to something called Natural Cycles and it tracks all my cycles because we're trying to get pregnant and stuff like that. So it is very, very good and very, very accurate. Weirdly. Okay, so that's the Oura ring. Now, my most expensive purchase, I am going to tell you, is my 8 Sleep mattress. This is the 8 Sleep. It's a mattress topper. I was the type of person who was like, I'm never gonna buy a mattress topper that is that expensive because it just felt like a lot of money, you know, honestly. But one of my friends told me, Joyce, you seem like you're really into sleep. Get this. She's like, I know that it's expensive and it seems so extra, but she's like, I got it and it's a game changer. And she's like, also, because I'm Asian, I need to know these things. She's like, there's a 5-year warranty. If you hate it, you can send it back in 5 years. I was like, oh, okay. Fine, then I'm sold. So I bought it and my husband just gets to benefit from my extravagant purchases, but like I love this thing. What the 8 Sleep does, now that I like hyped it up so much, is it's a mattress topper and it goes over your existing bed and it regulates your temperature to be in sync with whatever cycle of sleep you are. So I guess in the beginning, the bed needs to be a certain temperature for you to be optimally sleeping, versus at the end of your sleep cycle, like in the morning, it should be another temperature for optimal sleep.
In order to fall and stay deeply asleep, your body temperature actually has to drop by about 1 to 3 degrees. And in order to wake up feeling refreshed and energized, your body temperature actually has to increase by about 1 to 3 degrees.
The bed is actually really accurate in itself and it'll calibrate to you. So it takes around 2 months for it to fully understand what temperatures your body sleeps best at. And if there are 2 people in the bed, like I sleep on one side, Byron sleeps on the other side, then it'll be regulating both people separately. So Byron gets to benefit from my sleep mattress and I get to benefit from my sleep mattress. He loves the sleep mattress just as much as me. The crazy thing about the sleep mattress also is that if you are deciding between investing in an Oura Ring and a sleep mattress, the Oura Ring has so many little like good things, like good data in it, not just about sleep, but the sleep mattress itself, the app that comes with it is actually pretty accurate. So every time I compare my sleep fitness score from this mattress, it aligns pretty well with my Oura Ring. I do think the Oura Ring is more accurate. Like for example, my Oura Ring said that I didn't sleep very well last night. Haha, it's because my toddler, he's 3, he keeps waking up in the middle of the night and screaming for us because I think he's having nightmares. So we're just in that phase right now. If he sleeps soundly, we sleep soundly with all the things that I'm recommending. But like if he's up, then we do get up. So I didn't sleep well because of that, but I was sleeping well other than that, if that makes sense. But the mattress said that my sleep last night was actually 99, very good. So it's not, 100%, but it does have like all this data, like how much REM sleep you got and everything. And more importantly than that, the bed is just so good. It's like the perfect temperature. You will not believe what a big difference it makes when your bed is the absolute perfect temperature for you. In the morning, I do not even want to get out of bed, which is a problem because like if you wake up early in the morning to go work out and stuff like that, then it might be a problem. But I just wake up and I'm like with a smile. Like I can't smile because I have this on, but I just wake up with a smile and I'm like, oh, I feel so good. I'm so grateful for the sleep that I had. I feel ready to take on the day. I just want a few more seconds in this delicious goodness of my bed. I'm so happy, happy, happy. Like this is how I wake up in the morning these days, and I cannot even tell you how my life has changed. And that's why I'm sharing all this with you so that you guys can get amazing sleep and see how it literally changes your life. It changes your mood, changes your productivity, it changes everything about you. I really, really wish or hope that this motivates you to like get your sleep hygiene into high gear. And although some of these are expensive, not all of them are. One thing that I did forget to mention is that I wear earplugs every night, and that's because my husband snores and he has undiagnosed sleep apnea. So I started wearing earplugs because it's easier to sleep, obviously, but let me show you the ones that I use. So I've tried a whole bunch of them. I always go back to these ones. They're the Max soft foam earplugs. They just mold really well in my ears. I've tried like the really popular ones on Amazon. They don't like stay in and they don't block out the noise as well as these ones. And so these ones are just rolling all over my floor, but they're the best. And now I'm so addicted to them. Like even if I'm sleeping in a hotel by myself, I wear those because like any amount of noise wakes me up. I'm a very, very light sleeper. So based off of that, let me see if there's anything that I need to add. Here are some of the bad things that I do. I'm just gonna throw myself under the bus. Obviously, I mentioned I have a toddler who is going through some phases of his life. That's just part of life. You can't sleep perfectly every single night. And like I said, sleeping perfectly every single night is not the goal, but like just increasing those chances that you're gonna get a good night's sleep and get your brain oxygenated, that is worth putting a little effort into. The one thing that I do that is like really, really bad is I drink wine before I go to bed. And personally, I know that I shouldn't be drinking wine right before I go to bed, but my sleep score still says I'm okay. So I'm like, okay, fine. Well, I'm just gonna keep doing it. If my sleep score was really, really suffering, I would ditch the wine. But I think all the other things that I do sort of make up for the fact that I'm having alcohol before bed, and I prefer to have some wine with dinner. So it is what it is. I also am very sensitive to caffeine, so I will not drink any caffeine past noon. If I do drink caffeine past noon, I will be wired for hours, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world if you are wired for hours. So just be really careful with your caffeine. Also, another thing that I do is I don't drink too much water before bed. And that may sound counterintuitive because I just said that I like to hydrate and everything, but I like to hydrate throughout the day. I don't like to drink too much before bed because I have a small bladder. If you are a small bladder girly, you know what I mean. Like waking up in the middle of the night and going bathroom is like rolling the dice. You may or may not fall back asleep. For me, it really helps. Like, I think this thing is what helps me to stay asleep, even though I physically get up to go to the bathroom and come back to the bed. I'm not sure though, but like recently I haven't been staying up after I go pee. Like I'll come back to the bed and immediately go back to sleep instead of like going into my ruminating thoughts that destroy all my happiness. It's been helping. And I think also just like try to stay in that like sleepy zen state when you roll back into bed. Do not check your phone or anything like that. Oh, that's another thing that I do that's not good. They say don't check your phone or like don't look at things that have like a blue light or something. I still do right before bed. I guess if my sleep was suffering, then that is something that I would also try to fix. But just because it doesn't affect me that much doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. So if you are having poor sleep scores, I think that is something to look at. The last thing that I do that is a little bit strange is I eat very early. I eat dinner very, very early, like almost grandma status. Whenever I eat with my friends, I'm like, can we eat at like 5 o'clock or like 4:30? And they're like, are you a grandma? I'm like, I like to eat early. What I do notice is that if I eat right before I go to bed, that does impact my sleep score. So if you eat right before bed, then like your body is trying to digest and it kind of throws off your quality of sleep. So just be aware of that. And again, the Oura Ring is so good at helping you figure out what are the things that impact your sleep negatively and what are the things that you can like maybe slide by on. And it's data driven, so it's not just like you're trying to convince yourself. So that was a lot. I know it kind of seems like I'm a crazy psycho person about sleep, but I kind of am a crazy psycho person about sleep. It is my number one priority, even above working out. So if working out is going to cut into my routine, the length of sleep that I get or the quality of sleep that I get, then I just don't work out. That is how important it is to me. And I just hope that you don't think that I'm crazy, even though you probably do, which is fine. Actually, I don't care if you think I'm crazy because I sleep so well and I'm so at peace with it. And cheers to having the best sleep of your life. I'll link everything down below. And if you have tried any of the things that I have mentioned, please let me know how it's been working for you, or if you've been like upping your sleep hygiene and I missed something that you're doing and you think it's helpful, then please drop it down below because I'm always looking for things that will make me sleep even better than I'm sleeping right now. All right, bye.